Hello and welcome back. I'm Jonathan Hall. That is Brian Grant. We are financial advisors with Warburton Capital. And Brian, whether we are working with clients in the conference room or hosting this podcast, our goal is the same. We want to help people grow their wealth, define a purpose for it, and have that purpose lead them towards peace. So today, we have a framework that we read recently in the Wall Street Journal that's going to, I think, hopefully help move some people towards peace.
Yeah. No, I like this one because this is admittedly something I struggle with. I'm an overthinker. So this is really good. It's something called the 0.01% rule, which rolls right off the tongue.
0.01%.
Right.
Okay,
like 1/10,000th. Right. And it was in the Wall Street Journal article recently, but it comes from a book called The Wealth Ladder. And forgive me if I'm going to ruin your name. Nick Maggiulli is what we're going to go with. Came up with this, and the inspiration for the article was kind of funny. Do you want to mention what that was?
Well, sure. He was listening to a Jay-Z song, and what was the lyric? It was like, what's 50 grand to
an individual
like me?
Yeah, to paraphrase.
And it got him to thinking, okay, that's actually a really good point about financial planning, because to Jay-Z, who's accumulated a lot of wealth throughout his lifetime, 50 grand probably means a lot less to him than 50 grand would mean to you and I.
Right.
So it got him to thinking.
Right. It's like, what's the number to me, though, that really moves the needle, and what numbers don't? So, okay, what is this? What the rule basically says is, if you looked at your net worth and then you're evaluating a spending decision, if that purchase price of that item is less than 0.01% of your net worth, it is probably not worth the mental energy you're putting in to wrestle over whether it's worth it, if it's something you want. So math examples, right? If your net worth's 100 grand, that's $10. If your net worth's $500,000, that's $50. $1 million, $100, you can do the math from there, right? But if you take your net worth, multiply it by 0.01%, you get your number, right? Your 0.01% number. So some examples, right? It's like if you're in line at Chipotle and they say, do you want guacamole? And it's like $3 extra. If you're like me, you're doing, you're like, well, I like guacamole. Do I like $3 worth of book, And, but again, so as long as your net worth was 30 grand in that case,
yeah,
get the guacamole if it's going to make you happy, right? Get the extra leg room on the seat in the plane for $60 if that applies to your number.
Have you ever gotten the extra leg room, Brian?
No, of course not. No,
I do it every time.
Yeah, we're opposite. I overanalyze this. I spend a ton of time thinking through these little things that.
Yeah.
This article was cool for me because, again, it's just it's hard to put a dollar amount right on the mental energy so it's hard to compare. But at some point, there just are certain things that are not worth the decision fatigue that you run into if you're scrutinizing every single little thing, particularly if that comes at the expense then of thinking about the things that really do move the needle. Right? Like, how many people struggle with these little day-to-day purchases or worried about these one-off small things for a couple extra bucks, but then they completely ignore if their estate plan is put together, or if their beneficiaries are designated on their retirement accounts, or if they're saving enough for retirement or for their kids' college, right? So that's where I think that again, the decision fatigue thing is real. You don't necessarily get to the end of the day and think, well, I've wasted all my mental energy on the guacamole decisions. I don't have any more energy for the retirement. You don't do that, but you get to the end of the day, you're tired, you're worn out. And so the point is, your mental energy is better spent on other things. But maybe touch on the pitfalls, because you can ruin this rule, right? This is meant for occasional, one-time kind of one-off decisions that are maybe once a week or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, because if you spend $20 a day on something, just easy to do.
Oh, sure.
It's easy to indulge, $20 a day worth. Then that's what I think $7,600 a year. We did the math.
Something like that.
And we've had plans that we've created for clients where they've got a, several $1 million net worth, but a $7,600 a year change in their spending every year would actually move the needle, right? So this isn't a perfect rule where it's like, oh, well, if my net worth is, you know, $2 million, I can just spend $200 whenever I want. If you do that every day,
Right.
then that's what is that, $76,000
Mhm.
difference?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's pretty meaningful. $76,000 on $2 million net worth is very meaningful,
Right.
right? So, we got to use our brain a little bit with this. What are we actually trying to? What's the purpose of this rule? Like you said, I really think the purpose of the rule is to help people who have plenty of money feel okay about spending it,
Mhm.
right? We did an episode a little while back on is it worth it? This is a framework you could use to help decide is it worth it? If you're just never thinking about is it worth it and you're a wanton spender, God bless. I feel similarly. I tend to be more the spender in our household.
Yeah.
Um, but this rule doesn't just give you the green light to keep doing that forever.
Right. Yeah, you have to apply it judiciously. It's more meant to help the people who struggle with spending and enjoying what they've built to just decide to enjoy little things here and there that make them happy because ultimately they aren't going to be the driver of the ultimate outcome.
Well,
So,
and one point I wanted to make too, you were mentioning earlier about not just the fatigue of the decision, but also the opportunity cost of the decision. Opportunity cost, something we talk about on the show quite a bit, where because we're thinking about this and our attention's here, we're not putting our attention in this other more important thing. And I mean this with all the love in my heart for all of my clients, genuinely. But after doing this for almost 15 years, not quite, um, and working with hundreds of clients and managing hundreds of millions of dollars, I would say one of the biggest mistakes that I see wealthy people make is focusing too much on minute details. And there's a reason behind that. Okay. Oftentimes, that is the trait or one of the traits that got you where you are, right?
yep.
Because you were a saver your whole life. You focused on not getting the guacamole so that you could save the money, and then you did.
Right.
And that behavior over the years, or using that skill set in your business that you owned, or in the part of this publicly traded company that you oversaw, or like that is part of the skill set that saved you, that protected you, that helped you grow this wealth. And it's an important piece of you. And it's kind of part of your identity at this point. But there does come a point as you're transitioning to retirement where if we want to actually be able to enjoy retirement, you don't have to put yourself under so much pressure,
Yeah.
right? It's okay. It's okay. If you have 10 million bucks, you can get all of the guacamole that you want, right?
Yeah, just buy an avocado farm. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I mean, some decisions are worth scrutinizing and some aren't. It's kind of unrelated, but I saw this on, I don't remember, a reel or something online. I think it comes, if I remember right, from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits.
Great book.
Yeah, it is. He talks about this framework for like how much mental energy to give to different decisions. And it's this idea of hats versus haircuts versus tattoos,
Hmm.
right? So, like, some decisions, a lot of decisions are like hats. You try on a hat, if you don't like the way it looks, you go like this, you put another one on. There's no real risk. It's easy to change. The middle ground is a haircut, right? So you get a bad haircut, it's impactful. You might look silly for a month. Maybe there's ways to fix it. It's not going to be great, but it'll resolve itself. And then there's tattoos, and those are like they're permanent. Maybe you can get them lasered off at this, but the point is you go into a tattoo thinking this is a permanent decision. And so I guess the point of this rule, if we're trying to apply that to this, is you see a lot of people spending tattoo mental energy on hat decisions. You know what I mean? Like they're just agonizing over this small thing that's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
they're chasing the literally $10 trade fee to buy a mutual fund. Why do we have that? And meanwhile, there's like no estate plan in place. And
Right.
if and it's not to be mean or mock them. Like, again, I have much respect for that level of focus and that level of attention to detail. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing.
Mhm.
But we have to be honest with ourselves. We're spending time on a $10 decision when if you die today, your family's going to have a multi-$1,000 boondoggle trying to settle your estate.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where working with a professional can be helpful. And we do it in a really nice and loving way. Right. But it's, hey, okay, absolutely. That is important. We want to be mindful of the pennies so that the dollars mind themselves. Absolutely. Let's figure out what's going on with the $10 trade fee.
Mhm.
But while we've got you here, I understand that saving money and optimizing your money is really important. One of the best ways we can do that is by looking again at this estate plan and getting something in place that will pay for itself multiple times.
Yeah.
Right. And just helping people use those parts of themselves that have gotten them where they are, helping them put them in the right box, but then also helping them use that skill set towards this bigger, broader purpose and goal.
Right. No, I mean, I think that's exactly right. And I get hung up on it for a lot of the reasons. In the article, they talk about, this one of the, not Nick, but one of the other people in the article talk about they've seen clients with a $10 million net worth spend hours trying to get a $200 refund. And it's like, if you're like me, you're like, well, it's the principle of it. That's my money. It's not right. And so again, I'm not, I'm preaching from the pews here. I get it. But to your point, unless everything else is perfectly buttoned up and there is no better use of your time, then there's bigger fish to fry. Maybe you let that go till that other stuff's taken care of. And then even if it is, the whole point of this is pause and ask yourself, I understand right is right, but is this worth my mental energy and effort? Like, is this worth 6 hours on the phone with 4 robots and someone, that doesn't care who's reading a script to maybe get $100 back?
Yeah,
So you do have to check yourself a little bit.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you've got $10 million with a financial advisory firm, like have them call for you.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to.
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that.
We'll help.
We'll help.
I'll
Like,
call.
yeah, it's just think about what the best use of your time is in this chapter of your life, because it's not forever. And the years that you have where you have your physical health and your mental acuity are not forever. They're not. We know that. That's a known. That's something that we know is going to happen over time. Is we will deteriorate and the plane will end at some point. That's kind of dark. But okay, let's live in light of that. Right? It's the Stoic philosophy, right? Memento mori. We will die. Live in light of that. Don't waste your time on this small stuff and chill out. It's okay to chill out. You couldn't chill out for 30 years while you built your business, while you built an empire and conquered worlds. Like, absolutely understand that.
Yeah. You've earned the freedom at this point.
But you've got it.
Yeah.
It's okay. And working with an advisor can help you kind of.
Right. And they can help you figure out financially what are the hats and what are the tattoos.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what are the little things that I can let go of and what can't I? So,
And ultimately, if you have a plan in place and it's and we're reviewing it, and while nothing's ever guaranteed, if we're looking at this together and saying we've got a good plan in place, this is pretty rock solid. Stuff could always happen, but you should feel pretty confident that going forward, we have a really good plan in place. If that's where you're at, don't rob yourself of the peace that should come with that. If you hear that and there's still just no peace, there's anxiety or there's worry or there's concern, that's okay. Feel the feelings, but then try to understand why and start digging into that. Because ultimately, you've made it. You won.
yeah.
You've been worried your whole life that you'd have enough money to retire. You've foregone things We keep picking on the guacamole. You went without guacamole for long enough. You did it. Work is optional. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to fret the whole time? You got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yep. That's what it's for. I think we end on that.
Boom.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.